Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ZeusAI podcast series, your weekly dive into the fascinating world of artificial intelligence. I'm your host, Priya Sarai, CIO of Zeus Security. Today, we're excited to have a guest, and who is someone who truly gets what it means to lead through change. With over 25 years in the security industry, Dan Turner has pretty much seen it all and helped shape a lot of it. From driving IT transformation as CIO at Permar Security Services to now steering innovation as CTO of Security Central. Dan's been right at the intersection of tech, leadership, and making a real impact. Today, we're going to dig into his journey, his take on how AI is shaking up the security world, and my favorite part, how he is keeping humanity at the center of it all. Dan, welcome to the show.
Ria, thanks for having me. You're doing great things with this podcast, by the way. Hopefully, I don't bring your ratings down.
I'm sure you will bring the ratings way, way up high. Thank you for joining us, Dan. Dan, let's rewind the clock a little bit. You have built this amazing career living right where security and technology collide. What first pulled you into this world, and what made you stick around?
Well, I got out of engineering school and I wanted to make a difference. And then I quickly realized, given my unique personality and skill sets, engineering is not where I needed to be. And so I wanted to go into the IT field and was looking at some opportunities in agricultural manufacturing, but they really needed some experience, right? And Permar was looking for an IT person. And I'm like, heck yeah, let's give it a whirl. So hopped on board thinking I was going to be at Permar for a year or two. Ended up being a really great 25-year career. Um, and I stuck around because I quickly realized my voice mattered and the job that we were doing was saving lives, protecting property. And that just really struck a chord within me. And then being able to bring my experience, my skills, my take on business and stuff really kept me in the industry, right? And along with that, the leader of Permar at the time, Mike Duffy, was just a great mentor to me personally, and taught me the business, taught me what RMR was, and then allowed me to figure out how to bring technology to bear on Permar's infrastructure, on how we go to market, on the solutions that we provided to ultimately be successful. When I started
That's
Permar Priya,
amazing.
we were about a $30 million company. When I exited, we are on our pathway to be about a $300 million company. So I would say it was a good ride.
It's an amazing ride. I'm glad we didn't lose you to agriculture or manufacturing and that you stuck with security industry. It's amazing also what you said there that we sometimes forget when we are, talking about RMR and EBITDA all day long on what we do really, really matters. We are in the business of saving lives, and that's what keeps us going every morning, regardless of the issues we might have with any type of revenue field that we're referring to that day. As you were talking, you have seen the security and monitoring space evolve dramatically. If you had to tell your younger self one thing about how this industry would change, what would it be?
I would tell my younger self, be patient, change will occur, right? For the first 15 years of my career, I was watching the rapid pace of the digital transformation happen on the IT side, right? Uh, Ethernet networks becoming prevalent. So all the speed of change was happening outside of our vertical. And then when you're looking at the solutions we're bringing to bear for our customers and, from the video and everything still connecting to pots, you're like, holy cow, this really needs to change, right? But I'm like, it will change. All this IT stuff is happening over here. And then it was just painful to watch all these megalithic vendors in this space slowly move. I mean, it was like glacial
Yeah.
speeds, and you're like, holy moly, everybody else is innovating. And you're just, you do start questioning yourself. About 10, 15 years into this career, I'm like, okay, I got some skills. I want to use them. Am I in the right space, or is this space just designed to be like the buggy whip, right? It's just going to disappear because technology is going to gobble it up, right? Uh,
Mhm.
Thankfully, the last 8 years, you just touched on eventually, I think the old guard sort of has retired, right? This is a man-dominated industry for sure, and the way they seen the world was just myopic, in my opinion. And I think in the last 8 years, the speed of change has really happened, and rapidly so, right? So it's taken a
Yeah.
lot of firms by surprise, I feel, especially firms that didn't have good thought leaders, good IT leadership. It's taken a lot of them by surprise as how
Yeah.
fast change can happen.
So, speaking of tech evolution and how technology has come with a bang in the security industry now, let's talk about AI because we can't not talk about AI. How are you personally seeing AI impact the security world? Are we still in the early hype phase or is real transformation already happening?
Well, I'll tell you this two things real quick. I definitely think we're still early in the hype phase, right? There's still much more hype than substance in this space. But I will say AI is the reason why I made A after 25 years, right? You and I have known each other for a good while. I like challenges. I like the opportunity to tackle challenges. And I just felt like where I was, there was some trepidation to really grasp this transformation that's happening. I still call it digital transformation. I know that's a little old school term for AI, but it is a true transformation process,
It is.
in my opinion. Security Central called and talked to me a little bit about what they were doing, how they see the world. We're a woman led firm, so Caroline Brown is our CEO. And I think that a woman's take on this industry is just very, very unique. And what she sees as the opportunity in this space and what it's going to take. And I mean, she was talking AI to me right out the gate, right? She goes, "Hey, listen, we got to do things with this. I need a bold thinker that's willing to take risks and come in and help move my firm. And ultimately, we're hoping to move the industry along, take this AI challenge head on, right? So,
Hmm.
you know, and she's putting her money where her mouth is, right? So we've brought in some really top talent from new sales leaders to operations folks here, um, all highly focused on how to leverage AI and technology to make this whole experience better for our end customers, for our dealers, for our employees, right? At ISC West, we launched our first AI agent, right? So we have taken an AI platform integrated into our automation platform. It's generative AI. It's conversational, and it actually interacts with our alarm queue. So events that we have deemed AI eligible, our agent, our AI agent Ella, we've named her Ella, will pick that alarm up and actually make phone calls, talk to you, spend as much time with you on the phone as we were explaining the event, uh, you know, and interact with you on that one-on-one personal basis, right? Stuff that our human capital, our human dispatchers could never spend that much time on some of these events, right?
Yeah.
That's allowing us to value shift all this extra time that now our human dispatchers can focus on the important mission critical stuff for us, right? So, and at the end of the day, we're elevating the experience for all of our customers, for all of our employees, and doing a better job with handling of all the events in our alarm queue, right?
Yeah, no, that's amazing, Dan. What quite a journey seems like for yourself. And now with Security Central, from digital transformation to diversity leadership with a woman leading the company, talking about AI, talking about chatbots. And what's unique in what I'm hearing you say is how you are integrating agent AI or conversational AI into the crux of what we do, which is security monitoring. So tell me a little bit more on how are your customers reacting to it? Is this something that they are now comfortable with an AI voice talking to them that, hey, your business is on fire? Or do they expect a human interaction when they are dealing with maybe or could be the toughest times of their life with any type of security issue that the bot is calling them on? What is their reaction to that human versus AI on that first phone call?
Absolutely. So, first of all, you notice I did say initially we strictly control the events that Ella can handle. So right now these are all like late to test, late to open type stuff, right? So stuff that would normally be handled by an agent, we're now handling those lower priority signals over to Ella, and she can talk through that. Hey, here's what your closing schedule is going to be. Here's what your opening schedule is going to be. Here's what a late to test means and stuff like that. We have the ability to warm transfer to a supervisor if sentiment changes, if the conversation is going sideways. It will just Ella knows to take the time out and say, "Hey, let me get you to our supervisor," and they can take the call from here. The hook to our supervisor then summarizes that call. It's a warm call. The Ella will summarize, "Hey, I'm talking to Priya. She's a little upset. We're trying to talk about the late to test signal that came in on April 28th, you know, and then transfer the phone call over." And now we're giving them the gift of time to sit there and say, hey, let's make better decisions. Let's make great decisions so we can elevate the experience for all of our customers.
And I know there is still a lot of anxiety around AI calling, but I'm hoping as years go by, that anxiety about AI calling goes away too. Because AI sometimes it has so much of information at its disposal that it can think fast, act fast, make multiple calls at the same time. And to your point, save those seconds that are important because when you get to a human operator, they can only make one call at a time.
That's correct. And we can do,
Hmm.
and again, and our experience here right now, prompts matter, right? Prompts really do matter. You have to have well engineered prompts and great guardrails, and working with good partners that can understand sentiment, anxiety, confusion. I know I showed
Hmm.
Ella to you out in Las Vegas, and it was interesting when we got those call transcripts. Our transcripts totally showed that you are having difficulty hearing the agent. We tried multiple times and getting that feedback. I'm like, well, I can't wait to talk to Priya about this. So we were
That's
getting
amazing.
so, and again,
Yeah.
we're on a showroom floor in Las Vegas and stuff like that. So I mean, the background was loud. I was
Yeah.
more, I was actually blaming your iPhone in the process, but because I'm a Samsung guy, but that's fine.
Yeah, but that could be a real life scenario too. I know we're
Yeah,
joking about it, but it could be that your customer or who Ella is calling could be in a very loud location, and you have to test for the scenarios until you perfect them and make sure that the AI calling always works, regardless of what the background is, where the customer may be.
absolutely. And if and we put in guardrails in place, right? So if Ella calling doesn't work, that drops back into the alarm queue at a higher priority with all the notes and here's everything we tried, so on and so forth. And again, we're still learning, right? We feel we are very, very, very early adopters in this area. Um,
Yeah.
we're dedicating resources to quality assurance, so we have a whole team dedicated to reviewing those logs, making sure our guardrails are right, that um, and that's why we started very narrowly with that late to test, late to open, late to close area. Just to be
Right.
hyper focused on that. Let's get that right, and then let's just sort of see where it takes us. Right? We have lots and lots of
Mm-hmm.
ideas on where to grow with this thing, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
really even just in the alarm space. It's dealer focused. Custom. We all have technicians. And introducing that on that front, so we have lots of areas where we feel that we have tons of great data to feed into a platform to speed up technicians in the field, get them to get systems installed faster, so on and so forth. So,
So, Dan, I gotta say, as a CTO, even though you're wired to think about tech, security is fundamentally about people. The way you are balancing the push for automation and AI with human in the loop is amazing, and you're doing it fantastically well.
yeah, thank you. And some of the things that we're like I mentioned, we're really trying to make sure we're value shifting currently, taking the stuff that our dispatchers don't have time to spend the right amount of time with and value shifting that up and letting them work on the right way. But you can definitely see a time where you sort of mentioned it. Hey, AI could just replace all dispatchers in the call center, right? Uh,
Mhm.
and I think that some CFOs would love that idea, right? Just reduce human capital. Let's just put AI in there, and that's just going to make us much more money. Uh, and the question that we have as thought leaders and IT leaders is like, should we be doing those things? I think we can. We'll be able to get there, I think, but should we be doing those things? Because if we do it to our industry and automate out all our call center agents, what happens with the next evolution of AI, right? When you see what Tesla's got coming down the pipe with Optimus and what Boston Dynamic is doing with their Atlas platform and Unitree's G1 platforms, I mean, these have significant impact on what it means to be human, right?
Mhm.
Humanity, we cloak ourselves in what we do for a living. That is a major part of our self identity. And if all of a sudden Optimists can come in and uh, unclog toilets and run piping and do all the labor stuff that these guys have thoughts for under the auspice of, hey, we're going to give you a bunch more time to be creative and go do all these other things. I'm like, you know, those are the things that scare me, right? Is like, holy cow, and those aren't too far down the future, right? I mean, if you talk 5 years, it's not going to be unheard of for some a
Yeah.
lot of folks to have an assistant of some sort from Tesla or from Boston Dynamics, right? Uh, and so then
Yeah.
the question we have is like, what does it mean for humanity if we can displace all those little other jobs? And as we are doing things today in our call centers, I mean, those are the type of jobs that are in jeopardy. And I think we owe it to our employees, we owe it to our communities, and we owe it to our nation to make sure that it's not all about the bottom line and that we're value shifting people and bringing them along for this ride.
100%, Dan. And we did do a ZeusAI podcast on job loss prediction with AI and how AI is moving so much faster than the companies are actually ready to
Yeah,
retrain their employees to do something differently. So AI is coming at warp speed, super fast, and we need time to adjust. And it
absolutely.
is for leaders like us to think about it, to give our employees time to train before we move on to the next.
Absolutely.
And you build in regulations and ethical considerations on top of it. It's a conundrum still on
It
how fast
is.
can we move.
It is.
But Dan, before we wrap, let's have some fun. It's time for our Zeus AI quick circuit. Think of it like a lightning round, but juiced up.
Fair
You
enough.
ready?
I am ready.
The first question for you. First tech gadget you ever owned.
That was the Simon memory game. Do you remember that from Milton Bradley, the beeping lights?
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
don't actually. Tell us more about
I
it.
am probably way older than you, but in the early '80s, that was the hot gift one Christmas. Is a little video game that was code driven, and the patterns changed every single time you played it, and it was beeping lights, and you punch the red, green, and blue buttons to follow along, and all I wanted to do was be faster and smarter than my sister. So that was my first tech gadget that I can remember.
That's funny, Dan. I do need a childhood picture of you with the game now. One AI myth you wish people would stop believing,
Skynet is not coming alive tomorrow and taking over the world.
but maybe in 10 years.
Let's hope not. No.
If AI were an animal, what animal would it be?
Actually, I love this question because I think but not all your viewers know I'm very into yoga and mindfulness and stuff like that. So I actually have a spirit frog, which is a spirit animal, which is a frog. And so I'm like,
Hmm.
so my initial reaction is definitely frog. AI is a frog. And then it's interesting when you actually Google what a frog means as a spirit animal, and it means it's transformational, open to change, and embraces change. So I'm like, holy cow! I didn't even know that until I Googled it in preparation for this podcast. So I'm like, oh, perfect. AI is a frog.
I would never relate frog to transformation. That's amazing. One piece of advice you would give your 25-year-old self.
The third bourbon is always a bad idea.
Always, even at 25?
At 25, at 51, it's always a bad idea.
I would love to hear more stories on that third bourbon or after that third bourbon, if you remember that is.
Oh, they're out there. You just got to ask the right person.
If you could invent an AI tool for anything, no limits, what would it do?
The AI tool I want is a replicator from Star Trek. Just give me one of those bad boys so I can have that third bourbon anytime that I want.
Dan, this was awesome, thoughtful, inspiring, and honestly just a lot of fun. Thank you for sharing your journey, your thoughts on how AI is shaping the future. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, and stay tuned for more trailblazers redefining the edge of technology. This is Priya Sarai signing off from the ZeusAI podcast. Stay curious, stay bold, and don't forget to dream big.